Jesus was in the wilderness for 40 days. He took bread and he fed a crowd of people miraculously. He also told his disciples, "This is my body," in reference to the bread. I want you to remember that as we talk about manna, because I believe manna was the pollen from heaven, from the tree of life. The remnant seed, pollen is seed, shaken down onto the earth to the remnant of the Israelites, the forefathers of Jesus Christ. And miraculously, just as Jesus took little bits of bread and fed the entire crowd, this happened 1,000 years before, when bread rained down out of heaven, and the Israelites were told to collect it. But if they collected too much, it went bad. But those that collected only a little had plenty. This is unbelievable because no one else has drawn this connection yet between the ancient bread and Christ's bread. And when people tell you there is no connection between the Old Testament and the Savior and his miracles, this is what you can show them, that they were pointing forward to Jesus Christ. This goes on because there are more synchronicities, because they ate bread in the wilderness for 40 years. And Jesus was in the wilderness for 40 days. All of these synchronicities. The manna even tasted like honey, which is what pollen would taste like. It's also associated with the rod, Aaron's rod, that bloomed like a flower, which flowers give off pollen. And this is amazing, because then God told them to store up some of this pollen and put it in a pot. And he told them that once they put it in this pot, that it would basically be preserved until the end of time and be given out to his followers. He said, "Fill an omer and keep it for your generations, that they may see the bread wherewith I have fed you in the wilderness, when I brought you forth from the land of Egypt." And Moses said to Aaron, "Take a pot and put an omer full of manna therein, and lay it before the Lord to keep for your generations." And the Lord commanded Moses, so Aaron laid it up before the testimony to be kept. And the children of Israel did eat manna 40 years, until they came to the land inhabited. And here in Hebrews, the New Testament, the manna is talked about in the golden pot, which had the golden censer and the ark of the covenant overlaid round about with gold, wherein was the golden pot that had manna, and Aaron's rod that budded, and the tables of the covenant. And the last time in the Bible the manna is mentioned is in the book of Revelation. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the hidden manna, and will give him a white stone, and in the stone a new name written, which no man knoweth, saving he that receiveth it. And these are the trees that once reached the heavens, immortalized in Star Trek Discovery, the new series. Hiding in plain sight, the silicone crystalline structures that once were the conduit from Earth to heaven.
Heard everywhere on the surface. The sound is even broadcast into space by a towering crystal structure, a sort of naturally occurring transmitter. It is Starfleet's plan to modify the electromagnetic frequency of Pavo's signal and harness it as a form of sonar that can detect the...
Sir, can make the pilots understand why we need their transmitter?
He's got to. Convince him that they'll let us complete our mission is the only way.
Understand why we need their transmitter?
He's got to. Convince him that they'll let us complete our mission is the only way.
Understand why we need their transmitter?
He's got to. Convince him that they'll let us complete our mission is the only way.
Understand why we need their transmitter?
He's got to. Convince him that they'll let us complete our mission is the only way.
For now, I think it would be best to call it a night.
Cut off by the owl eye mask of Molech, stars spinning in the night sky. Yes, these were once the trees in the garden, the trees in the Garden of Eden. And once we partook of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, we lost the conduit to heaven. We began to wither away and die. And here it is, hiding in plain sight. Very few see these symbols. You're talking very few people across the planet know what they're looking at when they see this. But we've shown you that the inner eye, God's creation, is the map of the universe. I'm convinced now more than ever, this was once the conduit to heaven. And here you see it as they are beamed up to heaven. Their heaven, good versus evil.
Transmitted now was a massive electromagnetic wave. All that's being transmitted now is a massive electromagnetic wave.
Technology exactly as ordered. We should now be able to detect any invisible Klingon ships.
The transmitter is now sending out a new signal limited to 2 subspace bands. Ours, Klingons. What you did, Burnham, was invite the enemy to join us here.